Hello everyone and welcome to the Animezilia, and today we're going to be talking about Doctor Stone episode 12. Now, before I get started with this review, I do just want to mention, yes, this episode has been out for an entire week, and where's the review been? Well, that was a mistake on my part, because honestly, I thought that episode 12 was just a behind the scenes episode. So I didn't bother covering it because I didn't think it was worth it. But boy oh boy was I wrong, because this episode was 10 billion% worth it. To quote Senku, that is. Now, this episode, we're all about getting sulfuric acid. It's one of the key components to this all-curing drug to save Ruri, and it's something that the crew desperately need to get hold of. However, the thing that makes this thing so difficult to obtain is that throughout the millennia, scientists have had trouble getting this drug. Basically, if you breathe in the fumes and the gases surrounding sulfuric acid, you could die within seconds. And they state that, and this is the reason why Senku is willing to make the silver spear for Ginro. It's so that, basically, Ginro can essentially become the bodyguard and act as a sensor as such by holding the spear outwards and seeing if it goes black. If the spear starts to turn black, then it means that they have to run fast, because they would obviously start to breathing the fumes and it will kill them. Now, the whole theme of this episode was basically about fear and overcoming that particular fear. And I actually really did enjoy it from this aspect because it shows development from a few characters, and it gives 3 characters in particular some good spotlight. Those being Chrome, Kohaku, and yes, Ginro. Ginro so far has been a character that's been quite sort of shy, not really, shy is the wrong word. He's been quite kind of goofy and cowardly. And in this episode he's all happy about having a spear, until he finds out how deadly this stuff can be. And then he just doesn't want to know. He almost dies and he's just like, yeah, how can these guys do it? I hate people that are scared but they act recklessly like this. And honestly, I can understand where he's coming from, but I also like the fact that by the end of this episode, he actually had a backbone, and is actually the reason why Chrome was saved towards the end of this episode. If it wasn't for him, then Chrome wouldn't be where he is in the next episode, I suppose, which I haven't watched yet. Watch it shortly. Now, so that was Ginro. Ginro was basically the catalyst, if you will, to basically this theme being encapsulating within this episode. We know that this sulfuric acid is highly dangerous. It's deadly. And so does the characters. Even Senku gets scared in this episode, because we see him shaking, and he's so afraid that science will be lost from this world that he even tells Chrome afterwards, like, look dude, you have to stay here, and I'll teach you everything I know about science, and then I'll go and get this sulfuric acid. Because if I die, then you'll have to carry on with the cure. And if we both die, it's going to be pointless. Now, this is where it leads me to Chrome having a good moment. Chrome is a character that I genuinely do like from this series. Yes, he's quite goofy, yes, he's quite loud and obnoxious at times, but in this episode he shows that he's quite caring, and he shows a good side to his character. Because he tells Senku that he doesn't want to be a part of a plan that involves his friend dying. He would rather go as well and basically ensure his friend's safety. He's not going to sit back and just watch while Senku's in potential danger. And I like that about his character. It shows great characterization from his character, which Chrome doesn't need, but it's nice to see that he has it. And what I really did like about this is that it's very kind of reflectant of Kohaku. Because we see Kohaku in this episode, and we find out that when she first hears about her sister being ill, she's been told that she has to probably become the priestess next. Which means she has to learn all the stories and the teachings that have been passed through from generation to generation in this village by the priestess. And she's like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to be a part of a plan that involves my sister dying. much like Chrome doesn't want to be a part of a plan that involves Senku dying. So, Kohaku's kind of thinking is, right, I'm going to get this cure water, no matter how many times I have to do it. If I keep fighting like this, and being stubborn, then Ruri will have to keep being the priestess, which means she'll fight for longer. Now, this is in turn helping friends, which is great, and it shows good characterization from both Chrome and Kohaku, and the comedy in this episode was pretty good as well. It wasn't in your face and kind of out there. It had a main theme, and that main theme was fear and overcoming that fear, and it stuck to that very well, with very minimal comedy involved. Now, let's look at the sulfuric acid kind of representation. So they find a big lake, and it's like, okay, cool. So, what's the problem? And then we see this image right here. First of all, it's kind of like, okay, friendly maiden of the lake, let us have your sulfuric acid. And then she shows her true colours. She shows that just like sulfuric acid being deadly, she too is deadly. She draws you in, and then makes you go into the water and basically, as she says, puts you to eternal rest. And I actually did like this representation, because it shows that something so innocent and pure, like sulfuric acid looks like, because it looks just like plain ordinary water. But if you touch it, or get too close, then you see the ugly side, as you see up on the screen now. That representation was really cool, and like I said, the part with Chrome being mad at Senku for suggesting the plan and showing his good characterization in this episode, that part was great too, good visuals, and I like the fact that he got mad, because it shows another level of caring from him. We see him being kind and loving towards Ruri, and he's a bit teasing and playful towards Kohaku. Even in this episode, he's like, nah, we would never work out together because, you know, you're a gorilla and Ruri's a ladylike. You know, bits and pieces of comedy like that. So, this thing's highly deadly. So how are they going to get it? Well, gas masks. That's right, they managed to create these not great, but workable gas masks that manage to filter the air and make it so that they're able to stay in the toxic area for a good amount of time. But if you touch the water, then it is game over. As we see, basically, water splashes onto the gas mask tube, and, you know, they have to quickly act. Chrome almost basically falls into this lake through to carelessly slipping, and that's where